at some stage in your life you've thought about what it looks like to be successful, maybe even had a big dream when you were younger of what it looks like to be famous. Maybe been caught in a heated exchange before over who the greatest is, who the GOAT is, the greatest of all time. Muhammad Ali called himself the greatest, but maybe for you, when you think of the greatest, or when you enter into those debates, you think of great athletes, you know, Jonathan Thurston, Usain Bolt, you think of Serena Williams, Roger Federer. We look at fame, we look at greatness in all types of industries of the world. Maybe the greatest of all time for you is like Rosa Parks, Martin Luther. Maybe for you, it's actors like DiCaprio or Meryl Streep. I don't know. Greatness for you might look like so many different things, but the real reason I want to talk about it with you today is because right now we are in the midst of our annual generosity campaign where we want to be rich to our local community through give, serve, and love. So today, we're going to look at your definition of greatness, but also look at how we can actually explore the path of greatness by evaluating your definition. That was a little bit wordy, but I think we'll get there. Well, we all want to be great, and if we haven't thought about it at some stage in our life, we wanted to pursue greatness. But again, the thing about greatness is that it's so different for each of us. We will have our own definition of what greatness looks like. For a lot of us, when we have our definition of greatness and we box it into our own self-worth, what we achieve, what our idea of success looks like, how much money we have, all these things, greatness can become this thing that when we pursue it, it becomes inherently unhealthy for us. So today what we wanted to look at is how we can actually pursue the path of greatness, and how can we do that? Well, today we're going to look at someone who must have been pretty great because we still talk about him 2,000 years later. And maybe you might push back to this because I know for you, maybe you've had a really bad experience with Christianity or the church before. But today, the person that we're looking at that is the model of greatness is Jesus. So what can we explore about greatness and the path to greatness when we look at this person of Jesus? But Jesus' definition, it's not something that you have to take on if you're someone who wouldn't call yourself a follower of Jesus. I'm not trying to force this on you. The bigger question that I think you need to ask yourself today is, how do you define greatness for you? Because for followers of Jesus, Jesus defined this so clearly. It's so narrow, it's so well boxed for us. So what does Jesus say about what this path of greatness actually requires of us? Well, I think we find the answer to that in a letter that a fellow named Paul, who was around the time after Jesus, he was someone who came to experience this life as a follower of Jesus after being someone who went around terrorizing people who were followers of Jesus. See, Paul writes this letter to the church in Philippi, and he really clearly addresses this tension of what this path of greatness requires for us. And I understand at times it seems like Christianity just requires so much. It's like you have to do this, there's all these rules, there's all these things. At the end of the day, this relationship, it's all about relationships, not about rules. Paul makes this really clear in his letter. This is what he writes to explain Jesus' path to greatness in a really compelling way. He says, in your relationships with one another, have the same mindset, right? The same mindset as Christ. Rather, he made himself nothing by taking the very nature of a servant, being made in human likeness, and being found in appearance as a man. He humbled himself by becoming obedient to death, even on the cross. Paul goes on to write, therefore God exalted him to the highest place and gave him the name that is above every other name. And really, just even in unpacking what Paul has kind of written here, like he's saying really clearly, like Jesus' path to greatness didn't actually look like this kind of stereotypical society kind of definition of what greatness looks like. It wasn't this almighty kind of ascent straight away. It wasn't this building blocks to success. It wasn't this big empire being built at the cost of pushing other people down. Like that wasn't what greatness was. Like greatness was actually Jesus coming, writing himself into history, coming alongside of people. Greatness is not something that sits out there and up here. It's not something you build up to. Like Jesus actually came down and he came alongside of people. Jesus humbled himself. He was obedient. Paul makes this really clear. He says, this is what greatness is. See, Jesus' path to greatness required him pursuing this posture of humility. So in other words, in kind of God's economy, right, serving is the path to greatness. And Jesus didn't just model serving as an activity, he modeled it as an attitude. Paul says, take this on as your mindset. See, Paul describes an attitude that accompanied Jesus' action, a mindset that motivated every moment. See, for those of us who call ourselves followers of Jesus, Jesus modeled a mindset of service and says to us today to live with a mindset of service. This is the path to greatness. And if Jesus modeled an attitude of service, and if we all have an attitude, then this is something that we can all pick up. This is something we can all choose to be our attitudes every day. And that's regardless of whether we're followers of Jesus or not. Again, if you're a Christian or if you're not a church person, you wouldn't call yourself a follower of Jesus, this isn't a definition that I'm saying you need to take on. Again, ask yourself, who or what defines greatness for me? For those of us who are followers of Jesus, this has been so well defined for us. Jesus said it's been so well defined for us that greatness in God's eyes means following the model of Jesus. And Jesus pursued greatness through service, through serving and through humbling himself. We want to extend an opportunity to you to be able to be part of this and to start exercising kind of this posture and leverage what you have in front of you as a means to actually serve others. Because again, this Christian faith isn't something that's meant to be all about me. It's actually about the people next to me, the people around you. What would it look like to take what you have and actually use it to serve others? To get really, really practical with it, in this episode of Beyond at Home, we're jumping to our serve. This is our serve aspect of our Be Rich campaign. And the invitation we want to offer to you is actually found in the link in the comment section below. In here, if you click that, it'll take you to our webpage and you'll find a serving opportunity that you can be a part of this month. If you're someone who's currently looking for an opportunity to actually grow in greatness, to pursue this path of greatness, or if you're someone who's still just figuring out faith and you're looking to kind of put some skin in the game and actually pursue a little bit more of what this faith journey would look like, couldn't cheer you on more than to click that link and take on this serving opportunity. Just like how Jesus never just served like once in his life here on earth, it's the same for us. We're not just saying take on this one serving opportunity and that's you done for the year. If you're someone who wants to see genuine change within your friendships, within your relationships, within your family life, then serve your mates. Serve your mum, dad, your boyfriend, your girlfriend, serve your wife, husband, serve your children, your kids, serve your grandparents. Serve your community in a practical way. Serve those around you that you go to work with every day. Serve those that you study with. Serve the people that you run into on a daily basis. We have an opportunity to pursue greatness every day. Because when we say that, hey, I'm going to leverage what I have in order to serve others, when we take on the approach of not being me-centered, but others-focused, we have an opportunity to extend to people a love that ultimately, for followers of Jesus, points back to the person of Jesus. See, serving isn't just an opportunity to change others' lives, it's actually an opportunity for God to change your own. Even when fatigued, even when feeling vulnerable, even when feeling messy, greatness allows one to experience a real love. And greatness is saying to yourself today, I choose to serve.